G'day everyone, I'm here with Amanda Kaczmarek, who's the AEA Industrial Officer, and she's a lawyer, and she's going to take us through some of the stuff that we spoke about with the Department of Public Prosecutions at our meeting yesterday. So just a quick update. The response from the membership and from the public has been overwhelming, bigger than anything we ever had in Code Red. You'll remember on Tuesday night we started putting the writing up on the trucks. Within minutes we had vehicles all across the state covered in liquid chalk with the same message: it's not okay to assault paramedics. It was all over social media within an hour, and not long after that we had politicians from government, from people in the Department of Health on the phone to us, including, to their credit, the Health Minister, the Attorney General and the Premier, all committing that the laws needed to change, that it wasn't good enough what had happened with the release of the two offenders who assaulted Paul Judd and Sinead Bentley, that the laws seriously needed to change. So that is all down to your collective action, and we couldn't thank you guys enough for all that work. Off the back of that, we have had a lot of discussions with the Premier. The Premier, who actually did call Paul Judd and Sinead, I believe on Wednesday night, I'm pretty sure, which was good. And again, giving that commitment that they're going to close that loophole that allowed the two offenders to walk free. We're obviously not happy with it, so we were organised to meet the Department of Public Prosecutions on Thursday morning. So did you want to take us through that?
So the Director, how criminal prosecutions work in Victoria is there's a Director of Public Prosecutions, which falls under the Office of Public Prosecutions, which works under the direction of the Solicitor for Public Prosecutions, who is John Cain, and the Crown prosecutors, and that office works together to prosecute serious crimes on behalf of the people of Victoria. As Danny mentioned, yesterday morning, Steve, Danny and I met with John Cain to discuss the matter in question and as to what steps the department would be taking to prosecute the matter further. The decision, as a bit of background information, the decision of Judge Cottrell was handed down in the County Court of Victoria. The next court of appeal in the hierarchy is the Supreme Court of Victoria. The DPP cannot appeal merely because they don't like the decision that was handed down in relation to the sentencing of the two offenders. There needs to be a grounds for judicial review, meaning that under the legislation there needs to be an error at law found for the matter to proceed to the next court. We have been informed by John that not only himself but Kerry Judd QC, who is the Director of Public Prosecutions, and also two of their Crown prosecutors will be reviewing the material, which means that they'll be looking at Judge Cottrell's sentencing remarks and looking at the decision-making process she undertook when she decided to give the offenders non-custodial sentences, which is obviously of great disappointment to us. However, unfortunately, the Victorian Sentencing Act at Section 10AA, which is the section that deals with assaults on emergency workers, does currently have the provision that the decision maker needs to take into account special reasons, and special reasons include mental health issues and also the individual's personal and family circumstances, which is something that we're disappointed in the way that those factors were weighed up in relation to the terrible cost that Paul and Sinead have faced in relation to this matter. Yeah. But it is a very technical legal analysis that the OPP is going to be undertaking in relation to this matter, and they've undertaken to keep both Paul, Sinead, and the union, and through us, you, updated as to the process in the appeals.
It's probably also worth mentioning that John Cain did offer to meet with Paul, and I believe Paul's taken up that offer. And he's also offered to meet with our state council, and we're definitely going to take him up on that offer too, which I think on behalf of you gives us the opportunity to test him, and I suppose to give back our feedback that, you know, we're not happy with it. We're not happy with the situation. Whether there's anything of substance that comes from that remains to be seen, but as Amanda said, it is being reviewed. But at least we will get the opportunity to test that in front of the State Council. Look, that's it for now. We just want to pass on just how impressed and you know, how great the response has been from all of you. And I think also we should acknowledge from Ambulance Victoria as well. The last time we had riding up on the trucks, we didn't have the sort of response that we've had from Tony Walker. So, you know, Tony has been completely supportive of the message, and I believe he was on TV early this morning standing in front of a chalked up ambulance. You know, it's clear that we're all on the same page on this. AEAV and the union, government are all on the same page. We'll be having a lot of discussions next week with government about some of the changes we want to see in the legislation. And we'll be driving that pretty hard to make sure that we're completely happy with the changes that occur. Until then, please keep the riding on the trucks. Please like it and share it on Facebook and Twitter if you're on Twitter. It's the best way to get the message out there so journos and politicians all see it. We'll keep you updated as best we can, and thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.